What's shaking? Hey, I'm Rick Jordan. Today, we're going all in. There's some things with Reach Out that you might not know. And it's that we actually support a pretty awesome organization called the Unstoppable Foundation. And if you actually listen to the podcast at all, I just had the CEO of the Unstoppable Foundation on the podcast just a little bit ago. So go back, listen to that. It was an awesome show. And I want to talk about some things today because this week there's a show called Office Hours that I went out to Vegas and filmed a couple episodes. It was the third season that I was on there. And on this coming season, we are actually the title sponsor because of our relationship with the Unstoppable Foundation and how much Reach Out Technology supports the Unstoppable Foundation. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what they do, but I want you to go back and listen to that episode because it's pretty cool. Cynthia is the CEO. She's amazing. I also work with Janet over there. She's awesome. This is the Unstoppable Foundation. They do a lot of things in the country of Kenya. And one of the biggest things they do, which we support, is these enrichment centers. And enrichment centers they're actually teaching the parents of these family units how to become entrepreneurs. Because they've identified that in order to break the cycle of poverty that exists within this country, that sending food, sending water and everything, sure, basic human needs, but the only way to break those cycles is to actually teach the families a different way of life, a way to where they can actually generate income of their own and break this cycle of poverty. So based out of that too, they also establish schools, primary schools and everything else. And we're just so grateful I'm so grateful personally to be a part of it, but as an organization, to be able to support something like this is awesome because obviously I believe in entrepreneurship. I mean, take a look at Reach Out, going from literally one person, me, all the way to being a public company over the course of a decade. I fully believe in entrepreneurship. It's freaking awesome. And it's one of the best ways to try to create these things. And that's what we're teaching people in Kenya. So it's not a lot that I talk about this stuff, but I want you to know, especially for maybe some new people, right, that are watching, that are listening, that there's a relationship to have with money, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. First, I want to show you these things. So if you're on video, you'll see these photos. If not, we're going to link them, okay? And you'll be able to see them anyways. But take a look at this. I mean, these are some families, like people that we directly support, okay? These families that we directly support. You can keep cycling through too, because these are at some of the enrichment centers, so the kids get part of the primary school while the parents are learning how to be business people in Kenya. It's awesome. Right? That's one of the primary schools that you can see right there. It's incredible because now we're teaching for generations to come. It's awesome because Reach Out gives multiple six figures every single year for the last 2 years to this organization. And what it does is these enrichment centers cost only about $150,000 to build. That's it. It's less than most of the homes that you probably live in. Way less than most of the homes. And we're building these enrichment centers and it funds them for an entire year. You know, I'm getting to the point where it's like we would love to sponsor an entire enrichment center every single year. It's incredible. And that way we're spreading the love around the world. And this month too, you're going to hear me talk a lot about money and dollars because, I mean, people overspend at Christmas time. They just do. They put a lot of money on credit cards and they're spending the next 6 months of the year following just to try to come out of that, right? There's a lot of things that we're going to talk about this month in relationship to money. When you look at this stuff, I'm going to explain to you how money works in my life, okay? You've probably heard that cash is king, right? Well, I don't really believe that cash is king. I believe that cash flow is king, and cash can be queen. Because unless you have cash flow in your life to be able to have things come through you and go out to other people, there's no purpose and you will never see an abundance in your life. Why? Because you're living in a mode of scarcity. And this isn't the way that Reach Out operates. This isn't the way that I personally operate. We're always looking for cash flow. And the best thing that you can possibly do is understand that money is meant to flow through you. Money is meant to continue to flow through you to everybody else who then becomes around you. Whether that's your own family, right? Because you can build wealth, you can build a legacy for your kids. There's ways to do that. Even with working for another company, there's a lot of ways to do that. There's a lot of good ways to do that. Like you've heard like 401k, right? I'm going to give you some tips on this. One, my opinion is that you shouldn't put any more into 401k than what the company actually matches. So like at Reach Out, we match 5%, right? Starting next year. So you put 5% in and then you get matched 5%. That's a 100% return. That's awesome. Anything over that, in my opinion, I don't believe that anybody should do than what the company actually matches, because above that is taxed later on down in life, and taxes will be higher. So the rate of return, there's a lot better ways to invest your dollars if you want to put more in. And that's a good thing to do. And the second thing, in my best opinion, that you should be doing is cash value life insurance, because that builds an asset for you. And there's this principal of compound interest for this thing to continue to grow and grow and grow, or cook, as we talk about it in finance, to cook over the years. And the younger you are when you start this, the better it is, because it has more time to cook. It's just that, it's literally that simple. I'm always open to messages about this stuff, and I can direct you in the right place. I don't sell cash value life insurance. I'm not even making a referral to anybody else. I'm telling you things, in my opinion, that will help you build wealth for you and your family to come. Okay? Because then you can be in a place to where you're not paycheck to paycheck. Then you can be in a place to where you can allow money to flow through you rather than stop with you. If you ever feel overwhelmed about money, it's because you're living in a mindset of scarcity, that there's a limited fixed amount. There's always ways to continue to expand your income. And just like business, almost all money problems with any business can be solved with more revenue. Almost all problems with personal finances can be solved by making more income. This does not mean go to your employer or go to your boss and ask for a raise right now just because you need more income. There's still hard work that's attached to that, just like in business, how there's hard work that is attached to generating more revenue. It's the same thing. You're probably asking, what can I do, Rick? What can I absolutely do in order to increase my personal income? One of the things you can do is you can start to maybe try to take on some new responsibilities. And one way you might be able to do it, if you're a technical person, for example, right, you could obtain certifications, which means that you're no longer like a level 1 or a level 2 or level 3. You can accelerate and move into an engineering phase. It might not be even just certifications. It could be business classes. This is the hard work that you put into it to prepare yourself for what can come. Because people have looked at me my entire life, no joke, and they've said, Rick, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. You know, all this stuff, look at all this attention that you get. You release a book and it becomes a bestseller. You go on a TV show and all of a sudden you're on the NASDAQ Jumbotron. You have a public company, people all over the country are talking about you. You're so lucky. And I'm like, bullshit. I've worked my ass off to do every single thing. And you know what luck might actually mean? So maybe if you want to call me lucky in my definition, I can give you what my definition is. It's preparation meets opportunity. Preparation plus opportunity equals luck. And that's the same for you. Because if you prepare, if you continue to grow your skill set, to grow your knowledge, to consume information, that is your preparation phase. And then when the opportunity comes around, bam, you get lucky. That's the whole like right place at the right time scenario, right? The right place could be when the opportunity comes. But you know, if you didn't prepare, it's not the right time for you, because you can't accept that new role. You can't move into that new position. You cannot generate more income if you are not prepared to. This also has to do with how you manage your money. Because if you're hoarding it, if you're going to sit there and you're going to be like, this is for me, I have expenses, I have bills, all these other things, great. So does everybody else in the world. So do I. There's a lot of things that I'd be like, man, I wish I had a little more to be able to do this. But you know how you start to get more is you give more. You begin to get more money when you give more money. You begin to have more abundance when you flow out abundance to other people. There's this thing about tipping culture now, right? I don't know if you read the articles, but I know you feel this. Ever since a couple of years ago with pandemic, is that there's these tipping things. I mean, I go to buy a banana, right? This was I kid you not. This was insane to me at the airport at one of the self-checkouts, no human involved, self-checkouts. I go to buy a banana and think a bottle of water too. And I tap my card and then it immediately goes to a tipping screen. It's like, what? There was no human interaction whatsoever, not even the person to take my dollars, which in my personal opinion, cashiers are there to just perform a transaction. It's not service related. To me, tipping has to do with the service being provided and how good that service can be to you, how much that person is into actually helping you and wants to be of service to you. Then yeah, all day long, all the live long day, I will tip. But you know what? It's December, right? And one of the things that I've resolved to do this month, this entire month, is whenever I see a prompt, whenever I see a tipping prompt, I don't care if it's just a cashier, I will be tipping this month. This is like the month of generosity, December, as we lead up to Christmas. This is the month of generosity. You can follow my lead if you want to and try to do this yourself, because I know one thing. The only reason I'm doing this, even though as a mindset, I don't necessarily agree with the tipping when it comes to a cashier, especially not if it's a self-checkout and there's no human there. However, what I know it will do is only good things. One, it's going to put me in a mindset of being even more generous than what I am right now. It's like leveling up my level of generosity, because if cash is meant to flow through me, I'm not going to have a dam that blocks that abundance anywhere in my life. And the second reason is people will get blessed out of it. It's awesome. There's nothing bad that can come out of me hitting that yes button for a tip. You know, I don't think I'm going to come to do it when the self-checkout. I don't think I can actually do that. My brain just does not cross that barrier. That's okay. But hey, if it's a cashier at a Target of all places, I don't think there's a tipping prompt there. But even if there was, I'm hitting yes for this next month, because I want to see what it does to me. I want to see how it levels me up into a greater level of generosity, because it's what I believe and what I'm expressing to you is that money is meant to flow through you to other people around you. And when you do that, think about like water. Visualize water going through a channel, right? As often as that channel goes through, think about this, because there's this principle of erosion, right? It happens over time, over long periods of time. As water flows through a channel, that channel gets wider and deeper and wider and deeper. And what affects that? The wider it gets, the more can flow through. There's also current. The faster it flows through, the more erosion happens. So the faster that you can give out in abundance to everybody else, this is a principle that I'm teaching you here, the more can rush your way. And when you have more current flowing through this, that channel will get wider and deeper than what it ever has. That's why I'm doing that this month. And it's almost like the best byproduct, best symptom in the world is that a lot of other people will get blessed, but it's going to level up my own mindset about generosity this month. That's what I'm challenging you to do too. Maybe not in this, but like I said, cash flow is king. Scarcity sucks ass. Abundance is amazing. And abundance, the only way for scarcity is meant just for you. It's only for you. That's it. It pins you down. It holds things up in your life. But abundance is not just for you. It's for you and everybody else around you. Do you see the difference? Do you see the difference? So don't go looking around asking other people what changes they could make to provide more money in your life. You have to take responsibility for this for yourself and level up your own mindset, the way that you're looking at things, how to provide more value and abundance to other people. And that's going to deepen and widen that channel for you during this month especially. So whatever way you want to look at December, whatever way you want to look at generosity this month, I am challenging you to make your channel deeper and wider by understanding that money flows through you and scarcity is only for you. So which do you want? What do you want? Do you want scarcity or do you want abundance? Do you want a little tiny little like trickle of a stream, or do you want a raging river of cash in your life that's meant to not just bless you, but because you're doing good things with it, it's meant to bless everybody around you? This is how you obtain increase in your life, is by understanding that that increase is for this circle that includes you and everybody else around you. Have an awesome freaking week. Follow my lead on this and just see what happens to you this month. I want to hear the stories. All right, there we go.